we have Dr. Carlton on the show tonight, and I was trying to figure out how to introduce him. And I thought, maybe this would be a good way. Roll it, Russell.
But then he asks me, do you know where my car keys are? I look at him in his face and I say, have you checked your vitals? Get up, I have not seen your keys, but since you're asking me, you better check out that vital.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers Dr. Carlton's specialty. Dr. Carlton, come on.
That's the best introduction I've ever had. I love it. Amber, it's so wonderful to be with you tonight. And thank you to Russell for all his help, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, he searched you out. He found you and connected us. I am just very, very happy. So why would that be an appropriate introduction for you? I'll let you explain.
Well, on TikTok, I'm known as the butt stuff guy. So I, with the advent of the pandemic, being a gastroenterologist myself and a gay man, I have two kids who are 16 years old who spend a lot of time on TikTok. And during the pandemic, I found a lot of downtime because we couldn't really do a whole lot of screening examinations because we can only do emergency things. So I found a lot of nights with time on my hands and started scrolling through TikTok just to see what it was like, and kind of lurked for a while. And then after about 4 hours one night where I had realized I had laughed, cried, written down recipes for chili, gotten angry and laughed some more, I realized, hey, this is a pretty funny platform. I love this. It's a lot of, well, at least at that time, it was a lot less sort of antagonistic than, say, Twitter or Facebook. And I was just so tired of the politics that were going on at the time. I really wanted to lose myself in some laughter. I got the guts to post a few videos, and I posted one about, what I know best, butt stuff. I'm, being a gastroenterologist who's Mayo Clinic trained and a gay man, who better to go to about, knowledge about butt stuff than me, really. So I posted a couple of videos back to back, made them all official. I was really uptight and had my white coat on and everything like that. And I posted them and thought, hey, listen, what's the reaction to this going to be? It's either going to be people are going to be horrified and they're going to shame me and I'm going to have to take it down immediately. Or, maybe people will like it. And of course, the first person that responded was some housewife from Iowa who was horribly offended that I could talk about butt stuff on a children's platform. And now, meanwhile, just so you know, I used all the code words. I had to use a lot of innuendo because it is TikTok. You can't say certain things. You have to code yourself so that you don't get taken down or banned. So I put these videos up and I thought, oh man, I have two reactions I can have here. I can either delete this video or I can block this woman and move forward and see what happens. So that's what I did. I blocked her. I woke up the next morning, turned on my phone, and I had 50,000 new followers and 1 million hits on my videos.
Oh my gosh.
So I realized right away, hey, there's a hunger for this information that nobody ever talks about.
Where does the interest start? Let's talk about, undergrad, as a kid. Where did your interest in butt stuff start?
Well, really, I always knew I wanted to be a doctor when I was about 7 years old. How parents sort of vet their kids out to other parents and say, oh, well, my kid's going to be a doctor. What's your kid going to be? So I got stuck in saying that. And they kind of kept, even though they had only a high school education, they kind of kept saying, hey, our son's going to be a doctor. He said he wants us to be a doctor. So I just kind of went along with it. After a while, I kind of changed my mind a little bit, but then went back to it. I went into med school and I did a visiting rotation in med school. What
was your undergrad degree in?
In biology.
Okay. All right, that's good.
I grew up in South Carolina. I did undergrad in South Carolina, and I went to a rural clinic in South Carolina for my first rotation in medical school that I could do a summer rotation in. And because it was a rural clinic, they don't have access to a lot of things that other places do. So they do their own colonoscopies. So the doctor jokingly handed me the colonoscopy scope and said, okay, try this. I'll see you in about an hour when it takes you an hour to get where you need to get to with this camera. He came back in 5 minutes and I had completed the exam and he was like, whoa, that's amazing. You should really go into this. So then I did some research into it. I went to the Mayo Clinic to do a visiting rotation there. There's not a whole lot to do in Minnesota other than study, especially Rochester, Minnesota, which is a really small town in the middle of a cornfield. And it basically just has a Mayo Clinic and a mall. And so I really studied really hard. They really loved me. They wanted me to come back there. So I committed to 6 years, 6 winters, I call it, in Minnesota of doing internal medicine and GI, and learn from the best people in the world, from the best place in the world for what I do. So I really didn't combine the whole gay aspect of things into my practice until I got my first job in Palm Springs back in 2004.
How did you go from Minnesota to Palm Springs? What was the motivation, or what was the opportunity there?
The need to thaw out. Basically, I grew up watching the Beverly Hillbillies and things like Brady Bunch, and I always knew I wanted to live in a place like California that was glamorous and had more opportunities than where I came from, which was a poor tobacco town. So I kind of always had my sights on California. And when I got the opportunity to move to Palm Springs, which is gay and gray, it was the perfect opportunity to go and set up my first practice. We had kids early on. And
now, who's we?
My husband and I had kids early on, and we decided.
Where did he come from? Where did you meet him?
Well, I met him in Palm Springs. In my first job, I met him at the gym. He's a great, handsome, smart, amazing man who can do anything under the sun. He's just an incredible guy. And we decided after having children that, hey, listen, we ought to move to a place that has more opportunities for them than Palm Springs, because Palm Springs was just limited in its opportunities for children. So we moved to San Diego, and honestly, best move I ever made. My patients are from every country in the world, from every background possible. And it's about 75 degrees every day. So I love it here. I couldn't be happier.
I've been to San Diego, and it is very, very beautiful. All right, doctor, we'll be right back with you. We're going to talk about some of the things that you do with all those patients from all over the world.